So we just wanted an update.
What was the, so we met,
You want to introduce
On East
yourself?
Hartsdale
I
Ave.
apologize.
Yes.
My name is Richard Font.
I didn't get that call from you.
What's that?
I didn't get that call from you. Play.
No, I'm ragweed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And Richard Fawn, and
Commissioner of
your
Public
name?
Works.
Okay, thank you.
CJ Gelardo, Deputy Town Engineer.
Great.
All right.
So we just wanted to get sort of an update, what we've been doing, where we are, and what the goal, when we anticipate the work would be completed.
So I saw your email this morning to one resident, which I think was kind of spot on.
Good. That's good.
So we were moving forward as an emergency project, but we also at the same time had put pumps in that were sustaining the situation. So it became, what was dubbed a non-emergency. So at the current time, we have a pumping situation that's taking the sewage and temporarily diverting it around. We're on two tracks right now. We have an RFP out for, and I'll let CJ speak to this, for exploratory work. At the same time, we have a parallel track where we're going to bid with the Colliers Engineering, which did the original, was working on the original plan. So we have an 8.5-story building with, which has been there for 60 years with a 90-year-old sewer line under it that is broken under the building. To that, I'll let CJ talk about the two different tracks we're taking.
So we are having Colliers, who's been the engineer that our emergency contractor originally brought on to this project to help continue what they've been doing from the beginning, to design a plan to reroute the town sewer main around the building as opposed to going directly underneath and through the building. And in order to save time, and we're going to continue that path and have that design be complete, while at the same time, like we said, a parallel path. We were asked to put together an RFP to look at, to do a quick study of alternatives if there's other options that maybe might be more beneficial, something that we didn't think of. So that RFP is out right now. It's due in a couple of weeks. The design is progressing, like I said, on the Collier side. What we've been doing in the past few months is focusing on a grant. We applied to a grant that was due at the end of July. There's another one due in September. We've been working on those applications while doing the agreements with writing out the RFP, doing the agreement for the Colliers to finish the design, easement agreements and license agreements with the building and the surrounding buildings for the work that needs to get done in those buildings. So there's been a lot of kind of things behind the scenes that have been happening. The designer was helping us a bit with putting an engineering report together for the grant application. So they've been busy working on that. Now they're putting their attention back to finishing the design. The design for the trunk main itself, the town-owned trunk main to go around, is probably 70%, 80% design right now. The work inside the building is a little bit further behind. There's multiple connections from the building to the current trunk main inside the building. Those all have to get rerouted to where the trunk main will be relocated. That required a significant amount of survey work inside the building, around the outside of the building. So that's all. The survey work has been complete, but now the design has to be complete.
Implemented.
And
You mentioned twice grants, so why don't we give some insight
Give a
to
little
what
bit.
grant that you were applying for, please?
So they're both through New York State. One is called the Water Quality Improvement Grant. That's That was the one that was due at the end of July.
How much?
We requested $9 million.
I think we should preface it by saying that the cost of the work to do this repair is quite substantial, and so therefore we're applying for grants to defray the costs and to make sure to not burden the taxpayers and the town.
At least in part.
In part, at least.
And if I could also add, we've had meetings with the building owner, their attorneys, their structural engineer, our town attorney, Joe Danko, our engineers, and the building managers. So everybody, I believe, is truly on the same page with this.
The other question is, when I spoke to you, I think, a week ago or so, you mentioned that we need approvals from the county Department of Health.
That is correct. So when the design is fully complete, we'll have to submit it to the health department for their approval. That's standard.
How
for-
come for that?
That's their role to make sure that they have to protect the public health and make sure that the design, as far as they're concerned, works and that it won't back up into any of the house, units or discharge the environment. So they just kind of double check that, on their.
All sewer work and sewer connections must be approved by the county.
Is there any
Health
state
Department.
approvals
State as
that we
well.
need, or just the county?
It's just the county.
County?
The county health
Okay.
department.
The
The health,
state,
okay.
the state defers
the state.
to the
You know,
counties. to-
Some people, like today, I got an email, and people saying, oh, this is taking such a long time. What's the best way of responding because people say it's May of 2024, it's already 2025, and it's not going to be done until 2026? How would you respond to that?
You talking about the project in front of 100 East
Yeah.
Hartsdale?
And I'm not complaining, because I've responded, I just said that we have to do it correctly.
Get myself in trouble. So, again, this is a 90-year-old sewer main under a 60-year-old building. The break is under the foundation. We have to work very gingerly to make sure that we don't cause any further damage. And again, our engineers, our consulting engineers, the building owner's structural engineer are all on the same page, working towards that same goal.
And also, the street, there was issues with maybe the street having been closed. The sidewalk was closed for a period of time. I have to give them a lot of credit for going out there and making the conditions not only safe, but as convenient as we possibly can in the meantime while we wait for the work to be done.
And you also did some
Deputy Morito
raising up
was-
of the pipes to protect it if there's a major storm?
The pumps have been brought out of the flood area. So if we get another storm like we did on July 14th, we're in the clear.
Are we sure? I thought you set an expectation,
Yeah,
Commissioner. So
We've,
a storm like the 14th was one of those
yes,
500-year-old
well, we
storms.
brought it up and above that.
So we're, because I
Yes.
don't want to set the expectation that if something happens, you said that this was
Oh,
going
no,
to be.
if we get a storm like that, that area will flood.
Okay, so I just want
We're
us to
just
be
making
clear.
sure
Yep.
Yeah.
the best we can, everything's out of that.
In any, no one foresaw the fact that we would be having 100-year storms yearly and 500-year storms so frequently. So, and our system as a whole, not just Greenburgh, but the system for the whole state and the country is very much undersized. So little by little, I think every municipality it has or should be taking it upon themselves to slowly but surely repair and change that. But it is quite a cost to do that. And of course, we, the taxpayers, do pay for that. But ultimately, for so many years, because we didn't see the sewers, we didn't really pay attention to it. So
you-
it's really we're behind the eight ball on this.
Right, and you
Not
said-
we, Greenburgh, but everybody.
The whole country. And you mentioned that one of the things that we could do is put in upcoming capital budgets lining, the pipes. And if we did that, gradually, we could reduce these type of incidences.
So we do have a best project, and Councilwoman Gina Jackson, DPW liaison, has been pushing, and we're just in receipt of our first report from our consultant about just that, kind of a larger capital plan. So we are working towards that. I don't want anybody to be shocked, but you're going to see a very heavy capital plan this year. Again, we, not just Greenburgh, not just the county, not just the state, but the country has an aging infrastructure. You see with the bridges, we've got Fairview Park Bridge under some kind of reconstruction right now, trying to make it whole. We've got sewer issues, we've got pump stations from the 50s, we got all this work we're doing. And to the drainage, we have really, and you've been with us, out looking at areas to retain water, because the last storm was a 550-year storm they're calculating. It's bad. The warming and the storms we're having, it's unmanageable.
And ultimately, even if we were to upgrade the sewer system, it can only partially defray that because there's just so much water that the land around can absorb, or trees absorb, or any of the other remediation, even ponds. So whatever we can do to try to defray some of that flooding, it will never stop flooding, but will mitigate flooding.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. We also can't take the problem in one area and send it to
Put it somewhere
another.
else, yeah.
Right? So,
Right.
East Irvington came up at the last meeting where they flood. And we've talked about this, and we're going to start talking more with Irvington about maybe getting an area to retain some of this water. Because we take that water and send it downstream,
Right.
East
So put the
Sunnyside's got
problem somewhere
problems,
else, yeah.
and you just can't do that. So all these things are being looked at. We're going to be working with the controller.
And it's
Capital.
complicated
It
because
is very
you're
complicated.
talking about the intermunicipal work that has to be done, and that has to be parsed really carefully.
We've got right now Babbitt Court. We're looking at Fulton Park. We've got the Troublesome Brook study, Manhattan Brook study,
Hartsdale Brook.
Sheldon,
Sheldon.
Hartsdale Brook. You got most of the town, involved in some sort of a study or
It's on the river, that's bad.
The state DEC came out with a good report today. I don't know if you saw it.
CJ was on it.
I thought it was excellent. They came up with recommendations, and, one of the suggestions, I sent a letter email to Legislator Imamura, and I thought that, perhaps we could have a joint meeting with, the county, the village of Elmsford, and, the town, and perhaps the state, and basically come up with, using the TIF money, come up with, short-term, recommendations, short-term initiatives to follow, because they came up with a whole bunch of recommendations. I think one was removing a bridge. But, I'm saying we definitely now have a roadmap that we could follow. And the other thing that I wanted to just ask is, I had suggested that we have a walk, a site visit on Fulton Park, with the county, with Legislator Williams, with Lou Sanchez, with Tom Buck, with some of the residents of Fulton Park.
Yeah, oh, that's what I was going to
Yeah, but I'm
ask.
just-
Yeah, really.
Let's finish East
No, because
Hartsdale
he-
Avenue.
Let's stay on just East
And then after that, I'll ask, because I'd like to really schedule something.
Yeah, we've had talks with them before today's, that was like a countywide meeting,
Yeah.
and we can certainly have more. But to just try to answer some of the questions that have been asked, part of the question that we've been getting from residents and everyone else, why is it taking so long, is this is a very atypical. This is not.
You're talking about East Hartsdale.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the East
Hartsdale.
Hartsdale
We're
sewer
back to
break.
East Hartsdale
Yes.
Ave.
Closing it out.
A typical sewer break that you may see in the street is 5 to 8 feet deep in the middle of a road in the street, an 8-inch pipe. We're talking about a 35-foot deep manhole that broke and the pipe under or directly in front of, directly right at at a building. And it's twice the size, a 16-inch pipe. That's not something you can just go and fix right away. And if you were planning this like in a 5-year capital plan, you would be preparing for it, you would be gearing up for it, and it still would take a year of design. That is That is not a unreasonable amount of time to design something of this magnitude. And we at one point, we were going to try to fix it in place. We pivoted once we realized that we didn't think that was the right way to do it. It's maybe too dangerous. You can't really access. You can't dig a deep hole inside of the building parking lot. There's no overhead clearance. We looked at some of these things, and we'll have this study will also look at that and tell us, if we missed something or not, or if they have a better idea or not. So I think that's something that I really want to emphasize is it's 35 feet deep, 16-inch sewer main, which is a very large main, under a building. It's not a typical break. And to get back to the question you had about the grants, so the first grant that we already applied to is, it focuses on water quality, but this sewer line is in a floodplain. It has had issues in the past. It crosses the Hartsdale Brook. So lining a section of this pipe from just upstream of where the break is, basically from 100 East Hartsdale to Central Avenue, Four Corners, that is all in the floodplain, and that's part of this project to help prevent water quality issues. And I think that'll help the competitiveness of this grant, because the pipe already experiences what they call inflow and infiltration. Water gets into it, and that causes problems, and sewage gets out of it, and that causes problems. The second grant that we're applying to right now is more focused on infrastructure. That is it's up to a 25% match. So if this project is going to cost somewhere between $10 and $12 million, say, then you would have up to maybe a $4 million grant. But I think we'll also be very competitive with that because it's for aging infrastructure. So.
Okay. Okay.
Good. So let me just ask a follow-up with the Fulton Park. I think that it's really important that we have a site visit because we're doing a lot of work. You ordered the pumps that could divert water away from residential areas. We've done some obstruction removal, and I think that it would be interesting for the town board and for our county legislator, Williams, and maybe other county officials to observe firsthand what's been done and, what has to be done. And I just sort of feel if we would schedule a date and time, do it at a work session, say the second week or third week in September, we could invite everybody. And I think, I've said
At a
to
work
people, we're not going to solve the problems, but we could show people that we're minimizing it, and we could show people that we have a plan, a roadmap, and a plan to going forward to reduce the impacts. And I just think that it's really crucial that we have a site visit.
Let me ask a question. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Commissioner, no, I'm wondering if that's something we could do in a presentation since we could fly over and we can put together all the information about what we've done and just do that.
So, just a few quick things. First, we've had site walks with Jewel Williams and Mary Jane Shimsky.
I've been at the site. I
yeah.
think others have been here,
Oh, that's
there
right.
too.
I know everybody's been out there at one point. We were walking last week with Councilman Sheehan and Councilwoman Jackson. We are putting together a whole presentation at their direction of what we've done and where we're headed. We're not ready to present yet,
See, I didn't even know that.
but we will be ready.
That's very cool.
Oh, they're on it. Gina's a regular 7 o'clock in the morning caller. Anyway, we're putting together a presentation. We're also looking at areas where we could possibly, retain water, so we're working on it. I think it's premature to invite our neighbors or our friends with the county and everybody out just yet, but we will at some point be ready for that.
Okay. Great, thanks.
Okay?
Yeah.